Hello, it's Matthew David Hurtado. And go ahead and do me a favor quick before we get started. Grab a pen. I want you to write down the date today. Now, here's why it's important. You see, life is all about decisions. The decisions that we make determine our daily habits, and then that determines our destiny. Chances are you've made some good decisions in life, and you've made some decisions that were utterly awful for you. We all have. In my mind, anybody who is presented with the idea to come and get trained, to become a millionaire on their own terms, to live life on their own terms, to have financial freedom for once and for all, and to be able to do the things that actually matter. Anyone who turns down that idea when it's coming from someone qualified to impart it deserves every last bit of suffering that they continue to receive. Because I'm going to be cold, hard, and factual and truthful in this entire presentation. Becoming financially free is damn hard, and most people don't have the cojones to do it. What's it going to take? I'm going to tell you what it's going to take, and we'll see if you qualify. And if you do, then you're going to be making a life-changing transformation and stepping into one of the most powerful experiences, if not the most influential experience of your life with this workshop. Here's where it starts. You need to escape the labyrinth of your mind. I'm going to tell you why. This spiritual millionaire training is put together so I can share my discoveries with you. My focus is on disrupting the entire law of attraction and money space and teaching a skill set for becoming a spiritual millionaire. I'll describe this as we go forward, and I'm going to give you a chance at the end to connect with me personally so you can tell me about yourself and your situation. Now, the big idea in 162 words is this. Have you been making changes but nothing has been changing except you're older than you thought you'd be at this point in your life? Or maybe you're secretly afraid that your career status and bank balance reflect the proof of who you are. I'm going to be honest with you. In our society, your bank balance and career status tell people who you are. That is your identity in Western culture. And if you're sick and tired of being looked at as less than and being frowned upon because you're not where you thought you'd be, especially frowned upon by yourself in the mirror, then it's time to do something about it because you have that power. So are debts, illness, or self-defeating behavior remaining stuck in spite of your best efforts? Well, take a look at that picture right there. This is where I began my journey. I was 28 years old there. I had Lyme disease. I was dying. This was not a game for me. This was not a dress rehearsal. So how would you like the idea of knowing what to do instead of all the repetitive, useless thinking that goes on? Before a need occurs, like this need when I got Lyme disease and I lost everything, experiencing what I call sudden death overtime. If you need an example of sudden death overtime, just close your eyes and picture someone close to you that suddenly lost an income, a spouse, a family member, or their health. The impact, as you know, is devastating. And you see, the problem is people don't prepare for this because they think it's never going to happen to them. Now, this whole transformation that I'm going to impart to you is about knowing versus thinking. My focus is on my passion, and that's being the best in the world at teaching spiritual transformation skills, daily habits that translate into wealth in all areas. You see, you're responsible for scheduling your spiritual development in life because life is automatically going to schedule its tragedies. So are you where you thought you'd want to be at this point in your life? Has the modern technology that you have allowed you to manifest enough wealth to get ahead in life and to break through and to get real prosperity? You see, technology gives us access to the world at our fingertips. But instead of having freedom and fortune, most people are stuck more than ever. You want to know why? Okay, let me tell you this first. First of all, you have more computing power in one Apple store than all of Western civilization had just a few generations ago. We're living in the future of technology that our grandparents dreamed would arrive. So what's the problem? If there are so many advancements to enrich our lives, then why am I here? Why are health and prosperity such a struggle for most people? After all, the information is readily available, isn't it? Well, here's why. Because environment conquers will. Look at our modern world. It's more complicated than ever. And human attention spans, here's your problem, focus. I know I'm about to lose you because every 8 seconds a human drops off. Your attention span is probably below goldfish levels at 8 seconds. 3 out of 4 people in the USA have a chronic diagnosable disease on top of that. And more than 57% of Americans have less than $1,000 in their savings account. You see, where did we go wrong? Something's missing, wouldn't you agree? Well, I know what it is. I'm going to make it blunt. Self-development today sucks. Most self-development is entirely outdated. The bottom line is this. If you don't have financial freedom, it's because you weren't trained. That's right. You weren't trained. The think and grow rich ideas of yesterday are still taught by the so-called experts in the new digital environment, where the human mind is breaking down. You see, you have a new environment and the old system, and the interface, the human mind, is breaking down. So more information, that's not going to cut it. Artificial intelligence is already replacing human thinking. Your handheld device instructs you where to go, retrieves information, it tracks activity, and it monitors you, right? You see, here's what I have to tell you. My habits are extraordinary. And when I look around, the average habits that people have are shit. And that's the difference. Your habits become your destiny. You see, if you have an 8-second attention span and you're always wavering in and out, back and forth, can't focus, can't concentrate, can't get shit done, then guess what? You get nowhere. You see, more thinking is not going to get you there. So here, why am I qualified to impart this training to you? Well, first of all, when I began my journey, I lived in a 120-year-old farmhouse with box elder bugs crawling all over me and my family. I had bottomed out. I had Lyme disease. I couldn't work. It hurt so bad, I used to cry when I would try to work, and I couldn't do it. I was going to die. I was in the emergency room over 36 times. And all I wanted, praying to God, praying for the grace of God, was to live and to support my family. That's all I asked for. I wasn't asking for all that I was given. But because I was given so much, I'm here today to impart that because I earned my stripes and I know how to impart this to you. Here's where I ended up. I had a $5.5 million mansion before I downsized and bought several properties instead of one big one, and several sports cars, a 7-figure income, and this all happened within 2.5 years of when I started my journey. I had 6 figures on the internet within 90 days of when I made a decision to do it. I had no clue how I was going to do it. I had no skills when I started. I had nothing to work from, and I was on the couch with Lyme disease. So you can see I'm not too sympathetic towards people's excuses. I don't buy them. They just don't have the right training and the wisdom. Now, virtually everybody already has enough technology and information to build an empire of wealth and have freedom. Here's what I discovered after reading 700 plus self-help books. I've read probably about 2,000 to this date. Most of them are as useless as a lifeguard at the Olympics. You see, wealth doesn't come from your mind. Contrary to what everybody tells you, it happens in consciousness, and it comes through inspired action at the frequency level that you have to be at. People miss that. You have to have the frequency level. Your daily habits and decisions decide your wealth. What we require is a transformation, like it says in the Bible, in the twinkling of an eye. For many people, making a spiritual transformation hasn't been easy until now. So how do I know? Well, the same skills I discovered to transform from sickness and poverty to financial freedom and incredible health. I'm in the best health of my life. I'll tell you more about that in a minute. These can be taught to you. The skill sets, the attitude, the mindset can be imparted to you, and you can master these techniques, these daily habits, in just a few short days. So the solution. We have a workshop November 9th, 10th, and 11th. It's going to be the final one of the year, and it's a last call to work with me one-on-one, probably forever after this. It's going to be in Madison, Wisconsin, at the gorgeous Frank Lloyd Wright designed Monona Terrace Center. We're talking the right time, the right place. The numerology is off the charts for this one. It's going to be the most earth-shattering, mind-transforming experience that I've been involved in. I know it, and I feel it, and I'm expecting it. So we're going to talk about keto, crypto, digital nomad lifestyle, and having a spiritual family. One of the biggest benefits people receive by coming to one of my workshops, because I attract powerful, loving, exceptionally gifted and talented individuals that all have a heart to give. And when you have those people on your side, your life is so much richer, so much richer. So it's called the Spiritual Millionaire Workshop. The solution is the Spiritual Millionaire Workshop, and it gives you the training that you never received. And here's what the most critical idea is. It's to master the attractive and repellent forces. You see, you are a bioelectric human being, and you have this current that flows out as your force, your hologram. It's the holographic universe. You see, you attract and you repel. That's the big idea. You see, your frequency decides what beliefs come onto you and what attitudes come into your space. You see, everybody tries to change the mind, but you want to change the frequency. Everybody's looking in the wrong direction, and that's why the self-help industry is a billion-dollar industry, as in a billion people all sharing $1. Now let that set in for a minute. You see, that dog don't hunt because they're looking in the wrong direction. This is a live. It used to be a 4-day intensive. Let me correct that real quick, because we have condensed it to a 3-day intensive. And when I say intensive, I don't mean sit around and watch slideshows the whole time. You're going to actually be training. You're going to do stuff. You're going to learn, you're going to do, and you're going to teach. That's how it works. I teach you, train you, and I equip you so you can benefit. Get this. I equip you with all the wisdom that I use on a day-to-day basis to constantly win, constantly achieve, constantly outperform all of my doubts, fears, excuses, and most of my so-called competitors, because their habits are shit and my habits are extraordinary. And that's what I want to teach you, is how to have the habits of highly successful spiritual millionaires with a militant mindset. Now, that's too long to be a book title, but I just want to tell you that that's where I'd be coming from. This is a live 3-day intensive. You can benefit for the rest of your life for these skills that you're going to learn. So, would you like to have a spiritual millionaire skill set? Here's where it begins. If you've read my work, that's great. If you haven't, I recommend you do a primer before you come to the workshop by going to allow.ws, ALLOW. Get a free copy of my book, Allow, and read through it. That is a blueprint guide that I made. And what most people tell me at my workshops is that, they think my book is extraordinary. They love it. It changes their lives. But when they come to the workshop, it all comes together and they get it, and they learn how to apply it and master it on a day-to-day basis. And that is the secret, mastering this on a day-to-day basis, because your daily habits become your destiny, not you're sitting around wishing, hoping, praying to some fiction Santa Claus in the sky. All of that stuff is garbage. You have to do something different to get a different result. So if what you're doing currently isn't working, then you have to change your life in order to change your life by changing you first. You get rid of the guilt and feel the difference with the safe touch method, releasing you from self-sabotage. And the salute method, these are all in my books, by the way, and we train you to master them, brings streams of favor from the universe. You see, favor is a currency of money, and it's the shortcut to supernatural success. These are spiritual principles. You see, I have circumcised myself from the world of Babylon, which is what the entire Bible is about, removing yourself from the world consciousness, which is failure, lack, slave consciousness. It's called arrogance, pointing your arrow through the G, which is the gnosis, and becoming a worker ant. I have removed myself from that consciousness and entered God's system. So this is God's system of prosperity. So you're going to also learn a coach yourself technique called self-entrainment. It allows you to lock in the allowing state of being. This is the key to spiritual self-mastery. It's the most powerful tool, and for now, it's exclusively taught in person because I want to make sure you do it right. You see, failure is the result of poor execution. And unfortunately, most people lacking the right skills and lacking the spiritual inspiration for divine action, they are very, very beatable. But if you have mastery of the right skills and you know how to take divine inspired action, targeted execution, you will see unbeatable performance in your life. That's what you call wisdom applied. The self-entrainment technique allows you to coach yourself and get the right answers without hiring an expensive mentor. It obsoletes the old self-development industry that I found to be as lifeless as roadkill in our modern environment. This is the answer to mastering your vibrational state of being. This is allowing at the grand master level. Now, after you complete the divine feminine process, which is the allowing state of being, you have to restore what's been lost on this planet for about 2 decades now. And I can tell you a whole 1,001 reasons why, but let's get to the point. The divine masculine must be restored. And as one of my mentors, Dan Pena, says, he calls everyone a bunch of cucks. You know, he brings out the vagina cream for all these men that come to the seminars, and he says very profane things to them. And they pay him $25,000 to insult them and to put them in their place, because divine correction is love received. I repeat, divine correction is love received. And see, that's the truth of what happens at one of his workshops. Now, you don't have to pay 25 grand to come to my workshop, and I'm going to impart every ounce of wisdom I have. But similar, and ironically enough, my grandfather was a Pena, and he raised me in the same demeanor. My grandfather's motto was no excuses, and I'm going to tell you more about that in a minute. So creation requires action, 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 massive action, but not just any foolish action. You see, if I put 2 people in the room together and they're both working the same business, opportunity, etc., or even sport, they can take the same action over and over and over. And one of them will get far greater results than the other one. You want to know why? Because of their frequency, which creates their expectation, which creates their consciousness. Now, that's what I talk about before the divine feminine, the allowing state. I show you how to master your frequency, how to measure it, how to scale it up, and how to stay doing the 10 for 10 at peak level every day. I teach you how to perform at your best every day, how to show up, how to move past all that silly, ridiculous procrastination, all those self-sabotage, defeating behaviors, and then come from that consciousness and take massive, massive, massive action. And you know what? It takes less than an hour or 2 per day, usually for me. I built my whole empire on 2 to 3 hours a day, going from 0 to 7 figures in 2.5 years. And if you can't do that, then you might as well stick to working 8 to 10 hours a day for peanuts, because it all requires training and the right skills. So sitting around and playing in your head doesn't work, does it? Have you ever met anybody who's been able to sit around and play in their head with ideas, and all they do is keep thinking, that's had any level of success whatsoever? I haven't met anybody that can do that, because that is nonsense. Now, this is about making a complete spiritual transformation, mastering these tools, and prospering for the rest of your life. Because I repeat, your daily habits become your destiny, not what you wish and what you hope for. That's a fool's game to wish and hope for. You want to have a plan. You see, hope is not a strategy. Now, you can stay home if you don't want to come to this workshop, and you can pretend it'll all get better and put your head under the pillow and just pray and pray and hope and hope. But you see, God's only going to do for you what God can do through you. And I discovered that when I was sitting on my sick bed dying. And I'll tell you what, if I didn't learn what I have to know today to teach, I would have been gone a long time ago. I didn't have the option of sitting around and allowing another decade to go by and not do something about my situation. My time was running short. And see, that was my blessing. The curse that you may have is that even though you're probably not getting to the level where you want to be, it doesn't hurt bad enough. But let me ask you a question. If you want to go another 5, 10, 15, 20 years in the same condition, the same situation, the same struggle, how's that going to feel? What kind of legacy is that going to leave? What are people going to remember you for? You see, what I've learned is this. Your reason why has to be compelling enough. Otherwise, you might as well just throw the towel in. So you let that set in for a minute, and I'll bring that up in just a bit. I'm going to teach you how to become your own authority and self-leading wealth generator, stepping into being your full potential self, and no more excuses. We're not going to play that game anymore. We're done with excuses. I had 2 very powerful men in my life that imparted wisdom to me, and I became that person for others now. And the motto I have is no doubt, no excuses. I don't tolerate any of them. We're going to complete the divine marriage, allowing and inspired action, because manifesting is quite simple. And knowing always trumps thinking. So here's the bottom line. This intensive I call the Spiritual Millionaire Workshop is all about taking your power back, putting you back on the throne and getting that ridiculous, useless, thinky mind off the throne and putting it back in its proper place so that it is your servant and no longer your overanalyzing, procrastinating, self-doubting master. Now, 3 reasons that you should reserve your spot today. I'm not talking about next week or tomorrow or 2 months from now. I'm talking about today. Number 1 is the first 20 VIPs who register get a substantial early bird discount. And just as a side note, we're almost halfway sold out already, and we just started this launch probably about 2 days ago, 2 to 3 days ago. The value of the skill sets and training, plus the equipping, could literally be worth millions to you. You want to know why? Because it was for me. Some of my coaching clients are literally the best in the world at what they do. Number 1. You see, like attracts like, okay? And whether you are number 1 yet or you desire to be number 1, this is the place where I come from. And I come from mentorship of having that in my life. And if you're looking for that, then I recommend this workshop. At the same time, if what you're holding in your hand is not your harvest, well, guess what? It must be your seed. You have a harvest and you have a seed. So today is the day for the discount access and the limited ability to have access to me. And you have to make the commitment for yourself. Nobody else is going to do it for you. It's also a VIP destination retreat. Hey, you desperately probably need this to get out of your head and out of all the doubting and the fearing and the excuses and the poor me and the depression and all the things that may be going on. Because if you haven't broken through yet, I can only imagine what's going on because I was there too. Remember, I know the pain. I know the suffering. I know the hopelessness. I know these things. And they have nothing to do with the true you. And my purpose as the minister of allowing, that's right, I am a minister, is to impart to you God's power, God's wisdom, God's unbeatable presence, because that is who you are. And I'm going to remember in the face of all of these self-doubting behaviors, I'm going to remember that power back to you. Let that set in for a minute. The training will be an intensive. Again, intensive, not idle. Intensive. Just so you know, that's your warning. And you'll be on a team to give you structure and support that you probably are desperately missing and lacking. Again, you probably know who I am. If you don't, I am the Minister of Allowing, #1 international best-selling author of Ask Until It Is Given, 5-category international best-selling book, #1 best-selling author of Allow, and this is your VIP last call. You get a one-on-one private coaching package for 10 hours when you register as a VIP for this workshop. This is a silly, ridiculous low price for what you get for it. You get that access to me if you register before the first 20 packages are sold out. Again, they're almost halfway gone. This alone is worth more than the price of the admission. My retainer as of January 1st, 2019 is $10,000 for 10 hours. Now, as of now, you're not going to even pay half of that, okay? Because this is going to be a steal price for you, and it includes all of it. All of the things that you've heard about now and you're going to hear about in just a moment. Number 3 is you're going to be trained along with others to master the ability to support a team operation. Now, if you don't want to be on a team, don't come. It's that simple. You know, I met so many people that think they can be solopreneurs. You see, they can't even manage their own mind. How are they going to manage a business? How are they going to manage a team of people? Because a business that scales is not a solopreneur operation anymore. So if you don't want to be on a team, then just stay home and drink the Kool-Aid of the people promoting, hey, you can do it all yourself. Just buy my quick do it online course. Well, you see, most of these people are liars and they're selling get-rich-quick gimmicks. It's easy to sell somebody a system, but the problem is it doesn't have the underlying spiritual mechanics of how to take your power back so you can apply that system and get out of your own way. And that's why 85 to 90% of people absolutely fail time and time and time again. They buy all of these courses and seminars and workshops, and they end up twiddling their thumbs and feeling even worse about themselves because they never learned how to be the person who shows up in the world that is unbeatable and unstoppable. Now, if you have all of that together, that's what we call the Spiritual Millionaire Workshop. So here's the idea I want you to know. What you make happen for others, God makes happen for you. I don't allow egotistical maniacs to come to my workshop. I'm not in the business of feeding people's egos. I'm in the business of doing God's work. It's a far different approach to life. Now, you're going to break through in ways that you can't yet imagine. I don't want you to take my word for it at all. Let me just share with you some of the things that are going to happen here. And first, I want you to meet the trainers and the Pro Card Team 1. You see my wife and I, Sabrina, a couple of our kids. We have another child now. And this is Team 1 here. And this was a very small group. And this is how we started a few months ago. And we grew the next time to 3.5 times that size. So not everyone's in this picture, but this is Team 2. And you'll notice that there are a few people from Team 1 that came back because this is a powerful collective. We have a spiritual family. Now, have you ever went around your life and wondered, why do I feel so alone? Like I'm not like everybody else. I wish I could just be part of something where I felt like I am supported in being who I am. Well, what do you think happens when a group collective consciousness like this is all in unity, supporting you in your vision, not allowing you to pull back, not allowing you to go back to who you were? What do you think happens? Well, I'll let you marinate on that for a minute. Let's talk about what else you're going to learn. We have bonus trainings. You want the mechanics? The easiest way right now to build a tribe on the internet and to service a tribe, I'm going to give you a quick secret right now. Most people build a business absolutely upside down, the wrong way. They go to school and they learn these ridiculous ideas about how to create a product and bring it to market. That is absolute nonsense. What you do is you build a tribe, you build a following, and then you ask the tribe what they want, and then you service the tribe. The easiest way to do that is through creating Facebook groups. And we're going to show you how to build the top Facebook groups, top 10 categories, how to scale them, how to service them, how to provide value easily, and how to build that tribe. In addition to that, you're going to get what I call the YouTube channel video masterclass. Even though I have a history being blacklisted on YouTube for providing natural health content, which seems to be censored these days, I was able to resurrect my channel back up to several thousand members again quite easily, quite efficiently, and I could easily scale to 100,000 members because I know how to do it very, very fast. very efficiently and how to build a tribe, how to service a tribe. I'm going to teach you all of that, the mechanics of how to build a community, how to build a presence, and how to be someone and be somewhere. You see, here are 2 keys I learned from Dan Kennedy, and he is one of the best marketers on the planet in his no BS wealth attraction. You need to be someone and you need to be somewhere in order to produce prosperity. You don't like to be on video, you don't like to be on Facebook? Well, guess what? We'll even have an SEO training. So if you want to make articles, or don't even write the articles, have somebody else do them for you, we will show you how to build a tribe no matter what level of comfort you have. Now, another training we're going to do is we're going to talk about health. I am a fan of intermittent fasting and also the ketogenic diet. So we're going to talk about that. And we're going to share some recipes, have a fun course on both intermittent fasting and ketogenic dieting. And that's something that I really think people can get a lot of value from listening to, even if it's not your cup of tea. You're going to learn a ton about that. And lastly, we are going to have my personal cryptocurrency advisory council at the training. These guys, in my opinion, are the best in the world at what they do. They've been able to do astronomical numbers in a bear market with cryptocurrency. So if you're into trading, if you're into sitting around and allowing money to work for you, which is called being an investor, that is what I am very passionate about too. And I allow the people who are the best to do it for me. And they're going to be there to present their ideas and also make that introduction for you in case you want to be a part of that. And I'm also going to release on the master number day, we have November 11th of 2018, which is also an 11. You have 11, 11, 11. And this does matter. All the stars are lining up and you can be part of it. I'm going to teach you tapping out the doubting mind, a brand new technique that I downloaded that came to me that is going to blow your mind. And it's going to show you how to have casino-like advantages. And here's what it means. Winning at everything you do. Winning at everything you do. So this is about winning. You want to be a winner? Then be a winner. Show up as one and get the training. Now, why VIP and why should you act now? I'm going to give you 5 quick reasons to call my office today and make a decision. You see, nothing happens until you decide. If you make maybe I will, maybe I won't, then just leave now. Don't even waste your breath. I don't want that type of behavior at my workshop. You don't belong at my workshop if you're not ready to decide. Bottom line, because chances are how you do anything is how you do everything. So if you are used to being wishy-washy, then don't come to my workshop. But if you're ready to make a decision and you have a history of deciding and acting and executing, then you belong at my workshop, because what you're going to get, number one, is a complete training. I'm going to give you the skills you wish you always had. If you're not a millionaire already, even if you are a millionaire already, you're going to get quite a bit of value from this, because I'm going to show you how to show up every day as your best self and how to perform every day from the vibration of power, expectation, prosperity, because it's the quality of action that matters, the quality of execution. Okay, very, very distinct, important difference. Number 2, you'll get a concrete daily action plan guide. Now, if you're missing this, I call that wishing and hoping. And like I said, hope is not a plan. I am not a fan of wishing and hoping and all of this new age law of attraction crap, because I can look at the results and tell you that there are millions and millions of broke people who subscribe to that mindset. And I believe that it was a new age coup to basically enslave people into another religion, which means to bind. So on one side of religion, they got you bound with fear and guilt. And on the new age side, they got you bound up in the earthly heavens, where you're so heavenly bound, you know earthly good. You see, we have to bring this down into practical application. And that's what I'm a master of doing. And you're going to work one-on-one with me. If you get the VIP package, that's a 10-hour retainer. And I promise you this, you're going to save over $7,000 on that alone by taking advantage of that immediately. And listen to this, you get the support structure that you've always needed to succeed. Business and life is not a solopreneur journey. What a joke. We're not supposed to be isolated and alone and hiding behind our computer all by ourselves. That brings depression. That brings failure. Teams succeed, not individuals. Teams succeed, not individuals. I don't accommodate excuses, by the way. So you are going to perform on my team. We have one rule, no excuses. So the choice is simple. Stay stuck wishing or do this now. You can expect to discover the gold medal training you have been asking for and come prepared to leave your old vibrational junk behind for good. Now, you see, it's ironic that I talk about the gold medal training. I'll tell you about one of my earliest mentors in a minute. Another one of my mentors, Dan Pena, is going to tell you, just effing do it. Listen to this attitude. Are you going to wish and want, or are you going to just effing do it? I have a ready, fire, aim approach to life, which means I decide I'm ready, and then I jump in, and then I figure it out. And that has served me very, very well. Now, right now, as always, I have a full schedule today. People schedule all day long to do 15-minute calls with me, and then they end up coming to my workshops or getting my books. And these are the people that I minister to. This is my ministry. A ministry of excellence, a ministry of achievement, a ministry of winning and prosperity. So a lot of times these people are in trouble. That's why they come to me. And the truth is, I'm going to get to them, and I should get to them, and I'll tell them about this workshop so they can gain victory over whatever problems they're facing. And the spots, they're going to sell out quick. We always do. Our workshops are increasing in capacity, and we decided to even scale this one down from an expected 300 people turnout, and we're capping it so I can maintain the intimacy with the people who do show up, because I have to impart at 100%, because everything I do, I always do at 100%. Now, before I do any of that, I want you to tell me about you. You're going to go ahead and schedule your 15-minute call with me personally. That's right. Personally, we're going to talk about it and see if you're a fit, and I'm going to feel things out, see where you're at, and then we can make that decision before we even talk pricing, because the bottom line is this. If I can solve a $100,000 problem for you, then what does it matter to you if it costs you a little bit of money, right? Now, if you don't have a problem for me to solve, then I don't want you at the workshop. I'm not here to take advantage of anyone. So we're going to talk about that. So your current situation matters to me because I want to make sure that results are going to be achievable. And what I mean by that is we have to measure and we have to scale. If you can't measure it, then you can't scale it. And success is all about measuring and scaling. So we're going to discuss your situation and see if you're ready for this spiritual millionaire workshop. Now, everybody says, well, I want a guarantee. Give me a guarantee. Let me give you the guarantee in black and white right here. Once you sign up for the workshop, I guarantee it's the last time you're ever going to see that money again. And the chances are you're not happy about your financial situation because the taste is bitter. Now, if you're already making a ton of money, then what do you care for if it costs you a little bit of money? You see, you get 10 times or 100 times the value, and you already know that if you're successful because you didn't get there by not getting someone's wisdom. See, successful people know that obtaining a man's wisdom or a woman's wisdom is far more valuable than stashing their little last few dollars under the mattress, because those dollars do nothing for you. They're just currency. But if you have wisdom, you can attract all the dollars you want at will, on command, anytime. So here's the story that someone told me that I want you to understand. If you think about your financial bank account right now, think about where it's at. Does it make you feel sweet, as in, wow, look at all this money I have? Or does it feel bitter? If it feels bitter, I want you to check this out. You see, if you eat a fruit and it gets down to the core, you see the core is bitter and the seeds are bitter. They don't taste good. They're not supposed to taste good because that's your seed. You're supposed to plant your seed in exchange to receive a harvest, your fruit. Now, the fruit of wisdom is always prosperity. I repeat, the fruit of wisdom is always prosperity. And if nothing else, if you didn't get anything else from this training right here, this training you're listening to right now, then this story right here is life-changing if you will just open your mind and listen. The fruit of wisdom is always prosperity. You have two goddesses inside of you, the goddess of wealth and the goddess of prosperity. This is your breakthrough moment right now. If you are like most people, by the way, who are broke, and they chase the goddess of wealth, okay, everybody says, I want the money. I'm going to go after the money. Give me the money. They go after the goddess of wealth, and she forever eludes them for a lifetime. And if you're like the rare individual who is in the right heart space, you chase the goddess of wisdom. And you know what happens? The goddess of wealth gets jealous, and she forever chases you for a lifetime. If you remember that story, your life will change from this point forward. Now, your seed and your faith are required to attend because you get to own the wisdom, my lifetime of wisdom, imparted to you in a militant training atmosphere. When I train, I train. You're not there to sit around and daydream and go off on your laptop and read books. I'll kick you out of the workshop, just so you know. You're not coming to my workshop to daydream and to doze off. I don't care if you can afford it and you just want to throw money at it. That doesn't work for me. When you come to my workshop, you're in my camp now. You're on my ice rink, etc. You get this wisdom for the rest of your life. Now, if you don't value wisdom, go buy another system elsewhere. I just told you the story about the two goddesses inside of you. I'm not here to play victim and buy excuses. All right? I told you about my grandfather who raised me. And, I'll give you a story. One time I had hockey practice and I had the flu. Well, do you think I got to sit home that day? No, I had to go to hockey practice, and it was only picture day. I had to go to hockey practice and sit around in the bench throwing up to do pictures and to come home because my grandpa said no excuses. Now, that may sound harsh, but I'll tell you what, that mindset, that attitude is why I overcame Lyme disease, because I didn't lay down and die. I came into my power. And you know what? When I went through the bankruptcies, I didn't lay down and die. I came into my power. And I told you, it's damn hard for the average person to build financial freedom because they self-sabotage, because they don't have the training, they don't have the skills, they don't have the team, they don't have the support, and they don't know what the hell they're doing because they can't get out of their own way. All of those problems are addressed with solutions that have worked for me and many other people at this workshop. And it's not about thinking, it's about learning, doing. And we have one thing that I want you to do. You see, the world doesn't take excuses at the bank. When you go to the bank, they say, "Where's your payment?" You can't say, I didn't have time last week. I had the show on TV and my friends called and then I was on Facebook for 6 hours doing absolutely nothing and wasting my day just like I do every day because my habits are complete crap. No, the bank says, "Oh, guess what? We'll just go ahead and take your property back." See, they don't buy excuses. Now, you play to win on my team. All we know is success. We train, we win, and here's the thing. We give back. We give back. I want you to be a giver from this point forward because giving is the first step in prosperity to receive. If you're a stingy, hoarding, non-giving, non-loving person, don't come to my workshop. You will not fit in the culture. The culture of the workshops are some of the people I love the most in my life. This is one of the most profound experiences of my life to be part of this and to have these, people that I love and care for so deeply be present in the space where we can all commit to help one another. So again, #1 international best-selling author, serial millionaire entrepreneur, the minister of allowing. And the big idea here is, when life really threw its worst at me, and I don't wish that upon my enemies, what I went through when I was bedridden and bankrupt with Lyme disease. But you know what? Losers focus on what they're going through and winners focus on what they're going to. Because today I train like a pro athlete and I kicked that thing in the bud, got rid of it, and I transformed my life. And there's no excuse why you shouldn't. So let me tell you a quick story. I want to tell you the story about when I was playing hockey, as we talk about gold medal training, and Bob Suter was my coach. And Bob Suter always took an affinity towards me. He liked me. I gained favor from him. You see, favor is the secret to supernatural success because what he gave me transcended the hockey arena, and I've taken it with me along with my grandfather's teaching. He pulled me aside during one of our routine practices, and he looked at me and he said, "Matthew, And imagine I'm looking at you right now. Why do you only go half-ass in practice? And I looked startled and I said, well, it's because it's practice. And he said, listen, he goes, I don't care if you have all the skills in the world. He goes, protocol will always outweigh talent. Protocol will always outweigh talent. He goes, if you want to go half-ass, he goes, I'll bench your ass. He goes, I expect you to go full on every single practice, every single day. And I started to do that. I started to listen to him and I did it. And then he developed this all-star team, and we went and played the best teams in the country, all of these select teams. And he said, Matthew, he goes, I want you to come up to the next level and I want you to come skate with some of these guys. I was scared. I was really scared because all of my self-sabotage, my doubt, my fears kicked in. And I want to tell you a secret. I didn't have a father around when I grew up. You see, my father abandoned me. My father left me. So I always had this self-doubt and this fear, like I was never going to be good enough, and I was always afraid. But you see, I had someone who believed in me and challenged me to step up to the next level. And on faith alone, I said yes. I showed up, and I was surrounded by all these guys I didn't know. I was scared. I suited up. I went out on my first practice, and I'll tell you what, the level of talent blew me away. I was scared out of my mind at this point. I think this was one of the first times I felt anxiety to the point of almost panic. And I was skating, and these guys were good. These guys were so good. But let me make the long story short. I stuck with it. I showed up every day. I gave 100% every day. I tapped into the reservoir of talent within me that I didn't even know that I had. And we ended up playing the number one rated team in the country at this level. And I was on the defensive squad on the second line. And I remember I ended up playing most of the third period because my level was like I stepped up. I was on point. And they had this kid on the team, and he was going pro right out of that league. I mean, he was so good. I shut him down every single time. Every time he tried to go around me with all of his moves, I shut him down. I held him up on the boards. I stopped him. I sped up to catch him. I literally shut him down. And at the end of the game, Bob came and said to me, and this makes me just want to cry, because maybe this is you. Maybe this is you. He said, I believe in you. He says, you did it. He goes, you showed up. And that's what it took. You showed up. You did what I told you. And now look at you. He's like, you're a winner. You see, that's what it takes. And if you don't have that, you can't play on this team. You can't make it to the top. You don't deserve to be financially free if you're not willing to try. If you're not willing to try. Had I not tried, I would have never had that experience. Had I not tried, I might as well have just quit right then and there. But if you will try, if you will be there, then I will be there on the other side to tell you, pat you on the back, and to congratulate you when you break through to the other side and you make it, because I'm going to impart the fundamentals just like they did in the sport. Fundamentals, 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 fundamentals. Master, master, master the game. Your vibration, your frequency, your actions, your behaviors, and you're on point. So that's what this is about. I'm inviting you for a 15-minute interview right now. Fill out the box below and make sure that you fill out the form. Tell me about the 5 areas in your life you want to change, and be specific. I mean, give me brain dump. Tell me what's going on, because I want to see this before we talk, and I want to really communicate with you in a way that's meaningful, so we can decide if you want to be on this team, and we can, come. That's like our tryout process. You got to come to the tryouts. We got to have, some interaction to see if A, we work together well, because we'll be working together for 3 days straight, and B, if I can help you, I'll let you know. And if I can't, I will not allow you to come to the workshop, because I'm not here for anyone other than those that I can serve. So that's it for now. Thank you for this time that you've given me. I know that your life is going to be transformed. Whatever decision you make, this will be the best decision, I promise you. Take care.